Hello YouTube, GamerDad here, and this will be video number 8, right? Number 8. Yep, 8 in our 2D space shooter tutorial series in XNA 4.0. The previous video we did our bullet class, which is pretty simple here. And what we're going to get into now is loading our the code we need in our player class to shoot these bullets. So with that, I'm going to jump right in. And we're going to add a few variables here. Like I said before, we're going to be dealing with a list to handle our bullets, and I'll explain that as we go along so you guys can kind of get a handle on lists if you don't have much experience with them already. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to add a few more variables here. Let's comment this real quick. The main. We can delete this collision code because we're going to have a lot of variables in here, and if you want, you can keep that in there. But what we need to create here is it'll be another texture 2D, and we're going to call that bullet texture. And we're also going to create a public float called bullet delay. And how this is going to work is, some other people handle bullets differently on how they are destroyed. Some people will, once the bullet's shot from the player ship, they'll wait till it's a certain distance away and then have it removed from the list. I'm just going to do a bullet delay so that when you hold down the space bar, it's going to shoot bullets at a given interval, whatever we set this delay to. And then when they either collide with an object, like an enemy ship or an asteroid, or if they hit the top of the screen, then they will be destroyed, or in our case, removed from the list. Okay? So underneath, at the bottom here, we're going to add our list. So it'll be public, and the code for that is list. It's going to be bullet. So it's taking our class here because it's asking what this list is going to be filled with, and it's going to be filled with objects from our derived from our bullet class. And we're just going to call that list bullet list. Okay. So we're going to go down to our constructor, and we're going to set the bullet list to equal a new list of type bullet, and you need those parentheses there. Alright, so now that we have that set in our constructor, we can go down and in our load content. Actually, first let's go over here to our right in our content. We're going to load our bullet PNG, which is in your art assets that I put in the comments of the last videos, so you should have that by now. Just select your player bullet.png, and this is just a generic bullet I made in paint.net, and you guys can make whatever you want. I made the dimensions 8x8, so if you want to make something that size, that's about the right size for a bullet, I think. So we'll load that in, and I just called it player bullet. So we will load the texture here. So the bullet texture will be equal to content.load. It'll be a texture 2D. And the name of the PNG is player bullet. Okay. So, and what we're going to do down in our draw function is, here's where we're going to get into the list. And let me put in the code here first, and then I'll explain it. So in our draw function in our player class, we're going to say for each bullet, and then you can put whatever you want here. I'm just going to put B. In our bullet list. So basically what this is saying, for each bullet in our bullet list, this is what we want to happen. And it's gonna be b.draw, and it's sprite batch. So in our draw function in here, it's saying for every bullet that we have in our bullet list, because you'll see later how we're going to add bullets to the list, we're going to draw it. Okay? So next, we're going to go over to, we're going to create a new method. So you can go all the way to the bottom here, underneath your update method, and we're going to create a new method. And this is going to be called, it's going to be the shoot method. So this is going to be, we'll just call it that. Used to shoot our bullets. Actually, what it's basically going to be used for is used to set starting position of our bullets. Okay, in a nutshell, that's what it's going to be used for. So it's going to be a public void. We're just going to call it shoot, Scroll down here a little bit. And first we're going to set our delay. So we're going to comment everything in here so you guys understand what we're doing step by step. So this is going to be shoot only if the bullet delay resets. So as you notice up above, what we have our bullet, actually we didn't put it in. So in our constructor here, we need to set our bullet delay. And we'll just equal that after testing. I found 20 is a pretty good delay. And what you do with this variable is, if you want your bullets to shoot faster while holding down the space bar, you would reduce this number. If you want the bullets to shoot slower, like more time between each shot, you would raise this number, okay? So shoot only if bullet delay resets. So if the bullet delay is greater than or equal to 0, then bullet delay minus minus. So basically, wait, would it be greater or equal to 0? Yes, that's what I have in the code. Okay, next set is if the bullet delay is at 0, then create a new bullet at the player position and make it visible on the screen. Then add that bullet to the list. Okay? So, and what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be putting the code in, and then I'll explain each part of the code after I'm done, okay? So, if the bullet delay is less than or equal to 0, this is what we want to happen. We're going to instantiate an instance of a bullet, and I'll show you this in a second. We're just going to call it new bullet. We're going to equal that to a new bullet with our bullet texture. Okay? So essentially, you see this code here. It's bullet equals new bullet, which is what we've been doing in our game 1 class when we want to instantiate an instance of our class. Right? We're doing the same thing in here. So when the bullet delay, if we're holding down the space bar, and because it's going to start at 20, and it's going to keep subtracting, negating until it hits 0, right? And when it hits 0, then it's going to shoot a new bullet, and then we're going to reset that delay back to 20 again. So when the delay hits 0, we're going to spawn a new bullet with this texture, which we set up here in our load content as player bullet. And then we're going to set the starting position, new bullet dot position equals a new vector 2, and it's going to be position dot x plus 32 minus new bullet dot texture dot width divided by 2. Okay, and I'll go over this in a second. And then the y position is going to be position dot y plus 30 okay, and semicolon. So what this is doing, right? So the bullet delay is going to hit 0. It's going to create a new bullet with the texture we assigned above, and it's going to set that new bullet's position to the position of our spaceship. And it's going to take the x position of our spaceship plus 32, which is going to bring it halfway, so it's going to bring it to the center of our ship, and it's going to subtract the width of the bullet texture, divide that by 2, which is going to put the bullet directly in the center of our spaceship. So, I mean, because right now if you just put position x and position y, it would just create that bullet at the top left corner of our player sprite, which we don't want. Okay? And then after that happens, we're going to say new bullet dot is visible will equal true. Alright? Next step. So it's going to say if the bullet list dot count is less than 20, bullet list dot add new bullet. Okay, and what this is doing is, let me take this step by step here. I know this is probably a little overwhelming because lists do complicate things a bit if you're new to them. So we create the bullet. We set the starting every time we hit spacebar and the bullet delay hits 0, we're going to create a new bullet in front of the spaceship, at the center of the spaceship. We're going to set it to visible, so it's going to be displayed on the screen there. And what this is doing is telling us that we can only have 20 bullets on the screen at a time. So the bullet list.count, if there's less than 20 bullets in the list, we can add a new bullet, and we can, it'll display on the screen. All right, and then we will reset our bullet delay. So go down here and say reset bullet delay. So if bullet delay equals 0, then bullet delay equals 20. We're just resetting it back to 20 again. Okay? Alright, so that's it for our shoot function. And like I said, well, let's comment everything.